everybody, SonGoshuaku here, ready to rank WWE SummerSlam 2025 matches from least to best. Alright, so coming in at number 13, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Alright, so for those of you who have followed me on my original main channel, SonGoshuaku, and have migrated over here to my wrestling channel, you know that when it comes to these ranking matches that have cash-ins, well, because it's just one move and a pinfall, there's no other place for it on the list but the very bottom. Now, as I always like to say, in terms of moments, if we're looking at Seth Rollins' cash-in of CM Punk as just a standalone moment, man, this would be ranking high on the list. However, just like I said, it's basically a curb stomp and a 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And just to be fair, I cannot objectively look at all the other matches that we got and be like, this match with its one move and pinfall stole the show. I just can't. But yeah, it was really well executed. I've been hearing a lot of issues about, hey, this was really predictable, and people just feeling that, hey, this is it was too predictable. We saw it coming. Personally, I don't think predictability is a bad thing as long as it's executed well. And when I look at this, man, I gotta be honest, I thought this was absolutely executed well. The way that, you know, even just going back to like Saturday night's main event when you had the whole deal going on, I think it was about like LA Knight when he did the moonsault, and he looked like he landed on his feet fine, but nothing like bent in shape out of way. But you go over there and you see he's like really selling it, and they even put the camera angle on the audience, and there was a lot of, is it real, is it not, is it a work, is it a shoot? You didn't know. And I thought from that standpoint it was executed very well. Of course, a lot of us figured that, you know, with the way they were handling it, it's very odd compared to how they've handled other injuries that did turn out to be legit. So Seth Rollins coming on out there, basically, I thought it was good, and especially the way they did it, because after CM Punk wins and he comes out and is like, I'm just here to remind you, I'm on the crutches, just going ahead and reminding you. And then after that, you know, he walks back up and the camera's turned to his back, and the way he just lets it go, lets the crutches go on the side, and he takes off the brace and starts running down with the briefcase. Or like, oh, I know, that was really well done. It really reminded me, if you all are familiar with the 1995 movie, I believe it was called The Usual Suspects. At the end, they're trying to figure out, you know, who's the one that's the mastermind behind all this, and the person they least expect is this guy who's crippled. And at the end, the final shots of him, he's walking all crippled, but he straightens his leg out, straightens his hand out, puts his hair back, and just goes off as he has the classic line, the biggest mistake that I think not the mistake, it was the greatest trick the devil ever played, was making the world think that he didn't exist. And I thought the way they played this off was really good. It really reminded me of the ending of that movie. And, you know, Seth comes in and he's beating them down and stuff like that. Man, there's things where you're looking at it like, oh man, I'm thinking Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed was gonna come on out behind. I was like, oh, CM Punk, watch your back as a fan. But I guess he just wanted to really rely solely on the fact that he went through a huge war with the Ring General Gunther, and that's basically what he did, you know, beat him down with the briefcase, then the bell starts, you know. So overall, I thought the cash-in was well done. I thought it was an incredible moment, but ultimately, like I said, this list is for the matches, and I can't say that this match deserved any other spot on this list but the very bottom. But really awesome moment. All right. Oh, and thank you for joining the chat. Opal Scoutar. Hey, thank you for joining. So that being said, we get to our number 12 entry, Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. So in terms of actual matches that actually went a certain length of time, yeah, this was a downer for me on this one. I love Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn as competitors in the ring, performers. Really am a fan of them all. Scarlett as well. It's just, this match to me, it's like, what did it accomplish really? What did this match accomplish? Like, they've had good matches. Of course, they've had like one pinfall apiece, but there was really just two endings that I was really looking for to make me really want to get invested into this match. One, Does Karrion Kross go over and get a big win over one of WWE's top stars in Sami Zayn? Or does he lose, but in the end, Sami Zayn actually tells him, you were right? So sort of like what we got in WWE at the time. I was saying on my review, NXT, there was a story between, what was his name? There was a story between the Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, and Velveteen Dream lost that, but the whole story was he wanted Aleister Black to acknowledge him, and at the end, even though he lost, Aleister Black said his name, and therefore it was a win in the storyline. Aleister Black gets a win, and Velveteen Dream gets what he wanted. That's what I thought they were going to do here, even if Kross lost, but they didn't. All we got was Sami Zayn saying, we're through, and that's it. And it's like, well, this match was just booked as in no way to really try to capitalize off fans wanting Karrion Kross to win. And I recently did see on X a clip from the post show where the fans behind Triple H are clearly yelling, we want Kross, we want Kross, we want Kross. And Triple H turns around and goes like, you got him. You got Brock. And then he goes on. So it just shows you right there. There's just something there. WWE, whatever reason, they just did not value what Kross was bringing to the table when he organically got over. So there's been talks that him and Scarlett's contract is up this weekend. And man, what a shame. What a shame. But I hope that Kross and Scarlett are able to find success elsewhere in the professional wrestling business, as we have seen with Swerve Strickland and Tony Storm, and even Mercedes Moné. They have gone to AEW and have made some really good names for themselves in that other promotion, as well as people like Matt Cardona, who has been absolutely on fire in the independent scene. So this is not the end for Kross, but man, it's a shame that it came down to this in WWE. And yeah, with neither of those two finishes, this match right here just, I felt, didn't do it for me. Didn't do anything other than let us know that, hey, Kross and Sami Zayn are very good performers in the ring. That's really all we got out of this match. So yeah, I had to rank it low. Number 11, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match. Very much like the last match, it's kind of like, what did this match really accomplish? Now, I put it over the Kross and Sami Zayn match because at least at the end of the match, I could still see that it looks like there's still good things coming. When you look at Solo Sikoa, they wanted to obviously keep the United States Championship on him. And then when you look at Jacob Fatu, they clearly wanted to keep him strong. So that was accomplished. And it's clear that WWE has some strong plans for Jacob Fatu. Unlike where we're looking at Karrion Kross and wondering, okay, what is WWE doing here? So at least I left with a better feeling at the end of the match versus what we got in Kross versus Sami Zayn, which is why I had to rank it higher. But as a match, man, there's just nothing in this match that really stand out, I thought, among the next 10 entries coming up, because this was about as basic of a steel cage match. And this is not to diminish the steel cage, even what they did, going in there. If you've ever had your head, just leaned up against a cage, the fist, and it starts pulling the hair like, oh, it hurts. So I'm not trying to diminish the brutality of what a steel cage match is, but there was just nothing that I really felt stood out, especially in this. When I look at how they did it at the end, there was no big spots I can remember. In fact, honestly, the best spot of the match by far, check this out, was not even in the match itself, but after the match. When Jacob Fatu did that awesome moonsault from the top of the cage down to the MFTs. But other than that, it feels like that was the only reason why the cage was there. This just didn't do it for me. It further established Solo Sikoa in the storyline, being a punk, that he can't do anything without his MFTs. Jacob Fatu had established he's still a beast, and the only way he can get dealt with is when it's like a 3 or 4 on 1 situation. And it's a shame too, because I very much like the last match. I like Solo Sikoa. I think he's been absolutely hilarious. He's really coming to his own, and I was saying that last year. The way he does his sarcastic please, please. Like when he's doing stuff like that and he's making fun of Jacob Fatu's tribute to the what was it? To the Boogeyman. He's like, yeah, I think SonGoshuaku, he's been great. He's been really coming into his own. Jacob Fatu's all cool, man, when he's all like, I'm all gas and no breaks with it. You know what I mean? Gonna dog walk you. Like, dude, I love it. I love the trash talk, Jacob Fatu. Love how he performs in the ring. And it's a shame that you got two talented performers. But honestly, and this is for you longtime WWE fans, 1994 SummerSlam between Owen Hart and Bret Hart in a steel cage match, this was not. Now, that's one of the all-time great steel cage matches, and I'm not saying that they had to go in there and be like that, but clearly that match had a lot better structure booking wise than this match did. So yeah, and like I mentioned in my review, this steel cage match is the epitome of why fans don't take the steel cage match seriously when the whole storyline behind it, and I'm talking about in terms of the ideas that to keep interference out. Obviously, if it's two guys selling a feud, one-on-one steel cage match works really well, but when the storyline is, okay, you guys got to stay out, that's why we're putting the cage, and then the guys still interfere. You should have, I felt they should have had a story implemented where, okay, if the MFTs get involved, then as a result, you automatically gonna get disqualified and relinquish your championship over to Jacob Fatu. Now that's more like it, but this thing just contradicts the entire purpose of the story. So yeah, honestly, these were kind of some of the down parts of SummerSlam and for me. All right, thanks over into the chat. We've got Weekend Things, Miru, and everything. Yeah, thank you all for joining the chat. Appreciate you coming by. All right, so now we get to the top 10 matches of WWE SummerSlam, and thankfully I could say the parts that left me feeling down about it, it starts getting good all the way from here. So, number 10, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. So this match right here, I certainly thought basically outshined the weaker stuff on this card, and in terms of matches, obviously. But Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, the thing about this match was, it was good. A lot of people were complaining that it was short, but I thought these ladies made the most. They maximized the time they were given, and I still thought it was a great display of athleticism for them. So the match worked really fine in that regard. Of course, it was shocking to see Jade Cargill lose in that manner. Like I said, this is the first time that Jade Cargill has lost a match 100% clean, in the sense of she's lost before, but there usually was pre-match shenanigans that made her go in with a kayfabe injury, which would then explain as a plot device for why she lost the match, or you would have someone interfering. But with no pre or in-match shenanigans, this is the first time you have a 100% healthy Jade Cargill coming into the match with another 100% healthy opponent, and they go at it, and in the end, the better woman just wins. So yeah, that was very interesting to see. But I figured this match could possibly go either way. I thought maybe they would give it to Jade Cargill, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if Tiffany Stratton did walk away, which she did, as the champion. And even the way this was laid out, like you see in that image that I'm using right there, how Jade got the jaded on Tiffany Stratton and pulled her so far back that Tiffany's foot hits the bottom rope. So thus Jade Cargill is the one who cost herself this match. Man, I did think the whole monkey flip spot off the top of the cage that Tiffany did to reverse the jaded mid-air from the top rope was really cool. And I can understand them wanting to continue to push Tiffany Stratton because she has come a long way. And I saw some people saying things about they felt Jade Cargill is green and that she's not very good in the ring. I personally think Jade Cargill has come a long way since her matches in AEW. And so looking at this match here, I enjoyed it. I really did. I give props to both women. I did enjoy the match. It was short. part, but I didn't enjoy it as their previous matches. Like, if you go back to Evolution, I thought Tiffany had a much better match with Trish Stratus, and I thought Jade Cargill had a much better match with Naomi. So overall, yeah, I did enjoy this match better than the Charlotte Flair Tiffany Stratton match at WrestleMania. So I'll give them that there. But yeah, I put it at about number 10 though. All right, shout out to Miru in the chat, WWE Logan Paul, because that is the match we're getting to right now. Number 9, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. This match right here, when it came to the in-ring action of what Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul brought to the table, I thought the in-ring action was absolutely phenomenal. It's no reason why all three of these are some of WWE's most exciting performers to watch in the ring. And Logan Paul, I heard a lot of content creators since I did my review, and I have to agree, they said he was the MVP of this match. And I say, watching a match like this, having someone as inexperienced as Logan Paul and Jelly Roll in the ring, and you see the type of performer that Logan Paul, it really makes, I feel, more appreciation for this, because this match definitely shows that WWE professional wrestling, it is not easy at all. And the fact that Logan Paul has gotten as good as he is to really help Jelly Roll through this match and stuff like that really just shows you how far along he's come as a WWE performer. And in terms of Jelly Roll's performance, obviously he didn't do anything super athletic. He's still new to this. This is his first match, but I give the guy props. He came in there, and I know he got his butt whooped for most of the match, which is one of the reasons why I had to put this match a little bit lower on the side, because I kept saying it was like a very slow, methodical beatdown. They gave Jelly Roll a lot more in-ring time. I felt sometimes he was in the ring probably even longer than Randy Orton and stuff. But hey, I don't want to diminish. It takes a lot to get in there. It takes a lot of punishment to take that beat down and everything, those bumps, knowing how to still protect yourself and take that punishment. Shout out to Jelly Roll, as you see in the shot there, taking that big huge frog splash from Logan Paul through the table. There was just a couple of things where I noticed, like as mentioned right there, you can see in the screenshot where I was noticing that Jelly Roll was bracing himself, putting his arms over his abdomen, you know, to help protect himself from when Logan Paul comes crashing down. And you see with a lot of seasoned professional wrestlers, obviously they'll be out, and then as soon as the wrestlers in midair, then they brace themselves. Where Jelly Roll, he had his head up like that. He was just there the whole time, and it made me think in the match that Jelly Roll was gonna just get out of the way. But I'm like, oh, okay. And then when he did it the second time in the ring, when Logan Paul does the frog splash, that made me go like, oh, okay, he's bracing himself and everything. So that's what's going on there. So yeah, I mean, those were unfortunate, but hey, it comes with being inexperienced in the ring still, for him to get himself just to lose almost like 200 pounds and get himself into shape as best as he could for this match. I give him props to that, and more props as well to Jelly Roll for doing the JOB. That is so rare in WWE history. I mean, especially during Vince McMahon's time, very rare do you see the incoming celebrity who's coming in for just one match lose. And that's what it is. But hey, props. You know, you probably realize obviously Drew McIntyre is going to be there full time, and is going to be there full time on a regular basis, and you're going to have Logan Paul there on a semi-regular basis. And as a result, hey, if that's the case, I should do the JOB here, because I'm not going to be there, and we might not see Jelly Roll back in the ring again, I'm hearing, until 2026. So when you get things like that going on, yeah, I give him props for doing that. You know, he made sure that the talent that's going to be there looks good. And this match had a lot of great crowd excitement. That really helped. The fans were getting really behind Jelly Roll and stuff. So overall, like I said, I can't put the match any higher, but I thought pretty serviceable in terms of what we got for expectations. Hey, thank you guys for coming into the chat. I appreciate it. All right, number 8, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. All right, so I feel like definitely we're getting to the cream of the crop here, like the set of matches now that really I thought pretty much delivered here at SummerSlam, big time. So Dominic Mysterio, this storyline going into the match was fun, and then even going into the way this whole match was presented, I called it in my review the Eddie Guerrero tribute, because obviously it was 20 years after Dominic Mysterio got into his first storyline as a kid. I think he was like 8 or 10 at the time, and then of course there were so many callbacks from the Lowrider to the Eddie Guerrero inspired tights that AJ Styles was wearing, a lot of doing the Three Amigos. You had the old Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero spot from WrestleMania 20 broken out here, as you can see, when Dominic was loosening up his boot, and you've got just like when Kurt Angle had the ankle lock on Eddie Guerrero, AJ Styles has a calf crusher, and he uses so much pressure it ends up making the boots easily slip right off, and as a result, when the referee's not looking, he takes that boot and boom, whacks it right across AJ Styles' face, and he ends up picking up the win there. And I thought this was interesting. It's cool to see the crowd reaction. Fans were very much split between AJ and Dominic Mysterio, and then I was saying even too, I thought AJ's match with Dominic here was better than his match with Logan Paul at WrestleMania 41. So overall, that right there was a win-win. I really enjoyed the match. It was fun, and definitely a heartwarming tribute to one of the best to ever do it in the ring, the late great Eddie Guerrero. So that was really cool, and it's cool to see how far Dominic Mysterio. Just imagine looking at that kid back in SummerSlam 2005, and imagine it coming 20 years later over here to SummerSlam 2025. And there he is. He's teaming up with one of the best. It's crazy too, remembering this match. Is like, man, AJ Styles was around during Eddie Guerrero's time in wrestling, but he was in TNA at the time. So man, we never even got a chance to see that match. But it was really cool. I enjoyed it. I got nothing but good things to say about this match, and hopefully maybe they'll run it back over and Clash at Paris, because the atmosphere there is going to be off the charts with how much they were for AJ Styles last time they went over to Paris. Number 7, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. This match right here was really great stuff. I actually thought this tag team match and the match they had last night on Monday Night Raw were very good. What I really, like I said, this whole story with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, it has done wonders for getting Charlotte Flair over more than she's ever been as a babyface, and I've really loved Raquel and Roxanne as a team, and I just think Raquel really has stepped it up as well ever since she took Kevin Nash's criticism and stuff. So all around good stuff from these four ladies, and I really love the story of this match playing up. Will Alexa and Charlotte have some sort of miscommunication? And they had that big spot where Alexa ended up taking a boom punch, and with the big punch, and I believe Raquel pulls Roxanne out the way, and Charlotte Flair ends up taking the punch, and the way Alexa sold it on her face. Alexa's always had one of the greatest facial expressions and all that stuff and everything, and things and stuff like that. Oh man, overall though, I really enjoyed the match at the end and the way they played up on that finish where she's got her in the Sister Abigail DDT maneuver. Yeah, she hits her in the Sister Abigail, Alexa does to Roxanne, and the way they shot the camera angle where in the background she turns her head and you see Charlotte Flair is looking over there and runs towards Alexa, but she goes past her and hits the big boot on Raquel, as you can see right there in the screenshot that I'm using. Man, fantastic stuff. And then of course Alexa puts her away with the Sister Abigail DDT, and thus Charlotte and Alexa, your new tag team champions. I think it was the right thing to do. It's really good. So really good, I think, for them as a tag team. And hopefully this is a strong tag team run. I don't know where Roxanne and Raquel. I could definitely see. I would love to see more from Raquel as a single star, for sure. So yeah, overall this was good. This is a fun match. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I think number 7 is about the right spot. I would put it on the list here. Shout out in the chat. We got Rowdy and Star both saying what up to y'all. Appreciate you joining in on the stream. All right, number 6, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Wow, first of all, let me just say it is crazy because ever since I started doing these ranking WWE shows, ranking WWE content, going back to even on my main channel before transitioning over here to my wrestling channel, very often, because of the Bloodline storyline, I have often acknowledged Roman Reigns matches as the number 1 match on the card. So it's crazy that, man, this didn't even make my top 5, but it barely got there. Nearly got there. Compared to every other match we've talked about so far, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed was hard hitting. So, I mean, I still got nothing but praise match. Even though it didn't make my top 5, I still got praise for this match. It was hard hitting from the start. Bronson Reed, you know, with the tsunamis, and Braun Breaker, just a freakish athletic specimen, you know, the way he's jumping from the apron onto the ring, and then the way he runs to the announce table, the way he runs around the ring, and he does that big clothesline. Good stuff, man. And it was really just, I think, a really cool closure chapter to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I was there in Detroit at WWE SummerSlam 2023, and getting Roman Reigns and Jey Uso there to see how far they came from having this big blood feud over the bloodline to now they are back truly family in arms and stuff. That was cool seeing with the Ula Fala. Speaking of Falas, I thought it was hilarious that they're acknowledging Bronson Reed, who stole his shoes, saying that he's now got the Shua Fala. So I thought that was good. And yeah, he stole his sneakers even the next night on Raw too. So that was pretty funny. But overall, yeah, this match was hard hitting. A great opener, I thought, to kick things off on the first night, and really love the ending where Roman Reigns pushes Jey Uso out the way and takes the spear from Braun Breaker, and Jey Uso is the one who ends up taking advantage with the Uso splash to pick up the 1-2-3. So in a sense, the thing is, I ranked this match around number 6 because I just felt that this did not have the big feel of one of those big time Roman Reigns matches we were getting so accustomed to, but it was still good. I really enjoyed it, so I still got nothing but praise for this match. Ultimately though, I don't know how big it's going to be remembered, you know, because I think the Usos and Sammy and the whole redemption storyline they were trying to do last year when the Bloodline came back together for War Games might be a lot more remembered than this, but this is definitely a big moment for Jey Uso. But I feel like when it's all said and done, we really won't be looking back or thinking of this match as one of the all-time great Roman Reigns matches. And also, I think what's gonna probably hurt this match's legacy as well is that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, who were the young talents on the who were coming up, they lost this match. And obviously, yeah, things worked out with the way it ended with Seth Rollins, and they were all standing tall the following night on Monday Night Raw. But this match didn't really do much in terms of them. I mean, they look strong, but I just don't know ultimately how much this match will be remembered as that, you know, for Jey Uso. It felt more like it's a fun match to put there. It was good. It was a good opening. Probably shout out to my boy Aaron Riff of NoDQ.com, who actually I'm gonna be on their NoDQ review later tonight. But he said it was one of the greatest openers in SummerSlam, and I think I would agree. So it might get remembered for that. It was definitely a good opener, but overall, I just don't think there was enough here for me to really want to put it in that top 5 spot. But definitely overall great ending, and obviously where I rank it, one of the better matches of this entire SummerSlam weekend. All right, number 5, Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. All right, so we are here now at the top 5 matches of the SummerSlam 2025 weekend. So let's get into it. I would say these last 6 matches I talked about really are going to be some big moments here and everything and stuff like that. That really just, I would have to say I enjoyed the matches the most. So right off the bat, seeing Naomi come out with her father playing the guitar and stuff, who I had forgot about him from, because I hadn't watched Total Divas in a while, but that was really cool. No doubt a very touching father and daughter moment that they will always remember and be able to cherish for their life, and a cool WWE moment for us. So yeah, this was actually Naomi's second time coming in as a world champion, defending the title, except this time she won because she lost to Natalya back at SummerSlam 2017, which I was so glad to see that match, because Naomi and Natalya were 2 of my favorites, and man, for so long it felt like WWE wasn't doing anything with them. So to have them be in the featured world title match at SummerSlam was great stuff, and seeing Naomi get herself worked back up here with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, just fantastic stuff. As far as the match going, match was great, especially particularly the Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley portions of the match. It was more or less what we had gotten from them at Evolution in their previous matches. Naomi, psychology wise, was mostly playing the heel that was just trying to take advantage, so just going in and out, and the fact that she was doing such a great job of dominating both ladies to the point that Io and Rhea had to go ahead and double team her to get her out of the match, and then, you know, even doing the Io Sky pose like and all that stuff was really cool. So yeah, I mean, you had 3 talented ladies in the ring. I did say this in my review, this match did not capture the same magic as when Io and Rhea faced Bianca Belair in a triple threat match earlier this year at WrestleMania 41. So the match didn't live up to that, I would say, but it was still a very good serviceable triple threat match, and it was more based on, because that match was all 3 women just swinging for the fences trying to go at it, whereas Naomi's more of the heel trying to just take advantage, while Io and Rhea are the ones, you know, concentrating on just trying to beat each other up and all that stuff, whereas Naomi was being more sneaky, and granted that's what happened in the end when Rhea had Io Sky beat. And I love that they kept playing up how Rhea Ripley, every single time she comes close, there's some sort of shenanigan that happens and it just prevents her, some sort of bad luck that prevents her from getting that women's championship. And here, when she finally had Io Sky beat and was about to finally pin her for the first time, 1, 2, 3, you have Naomi come up from behind her, roll her up, and grab the tights. And shout out to Michael Cole on commentary for mentioning it, because yes, that actually indeed is 100% legal in a triple threat match, as triple threat matches are no disqualification. So I thought that was really good, and Naomi gets a big win. And when I'm talking about remembering matches, like I said, I don't know overall in the grand scope how much we'll remember that tag team match between Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker against Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, but we'll always remember Naomi here getting a big SummerSlam win. Like when she goes into the WWE Hall of Fame one day, this is definitely going to be a highlight, remembering that she walked out at SummerSlam. So this is a big moment for Naomi, and I'm super happy for her. And yeah, overall, I thought the match certainly warranted the number 5th spot on this list. So it was definitely a good match. I enjoyed it. Now I wonder if we're gonna get Io Sky and Rhea Ripley maybe at Survivor Series against Jade Cargill, so that both ladies can say they took on all big 3 at the in a triple threat match. All right, number 4, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship in a street fight, with the stipulation that if Lyra loses, she can never again challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, so as long as Becky Lynch is still champion. Alrighty, so I have seen some mixed opinions about this match. So I don't know, this part right here might not go over well with some of you all. Feel free to let me know in the chat or on demand if you're watching. But yeah, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, some thought this match was too long. Some thought this match had too many shenanigans. And what's been the biggest strength, no doubt, with all three of these with both of these ladies is when, because I'm seeing Bailey right there. But yeah, the biggest strength with both these ladies have been them just getting in the ring and doing in-ring wrestling. And this one was more, you know, they're trying to up the ante with all the weapons and stuff like that. But I thought it did enough here, and to the point where I thought this was the women's match that stole the show. And I said as much in my review. I said when I was done watching this match, I was like, these two ladies stole the show. They were the best women's match. And now that we've exhausted all the female matches on this list, I can definitely truly say that I thought this was the best women's match of the entire SummerSlam weekend. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, they always go out there and kill it. I love their NXT match. I love their match that they had at Backlash, and I thought they even topped themselves doing the match at Money in the Bank. Once again, really strong clash. Even when you throw Bailey into the mix, they had a really good triple threat match at Evolution 2. I thought the use of weapons were good. What I really appreciated this match is they were getting creative with some of the spots, like doing the zip tie and Becky Lynch paying for zip tying Lyra in front as opposed to the back. Like when we see Lyra do the no hands moonsault from the top rope, that was good stuff. I love the part where Becky Lynch ends up fitting Lyra's body through the part of the chair where the spine and rests and the butt rests and stuff, and how she came off the top of the ring and just slammed it onto Becky Lynch and like got her chin and upper body like all caught up there. And the way Lyra was selling it, I think Becky's even using it as her profile pic on Twitter/X now. That was good stuff. I thought that was really creative. I enjoyed it. Looking overall, I thought it really worked. They used a lot of the kendo sticks. They even did a callback to when John Cena was handcuffed and was hanging all above there, and Randy Orton took that kendo stick and kept whacking Cena in the abdomen. They did that spot here from what was it, Breaking Point 2009, I think WWE Breaking Point 2009, when they had like that I Quit match. That was really cool. They were just, it felt like they were really going at it, trying to make a suitable finale with their match, and I respect the women's efforts. The match did go long. It was probably one of the longest matches on the show, but it didn't really bother me. I was invested from start to finish. And granted, I mean, the audience, I guess was down at some points and stuff, unfortunately, but overall, their ring action, I think, in the story they were telling really helped me a lot in deciding that, yeah, this needs to rank very high on this list. And then Bailey's interference and how it causes Lyra at the end was good. Oh, I really love that spot too, where after Bailey gets sent flying over the barricade, they did that awesome shot where Becky was resting on the table, and out of frame nowhere, Lyra just comes through with a leg drop right on the back of her head through the table. Good stuff. Really love that. And like I said, I just love creative spots like that, and taking us the focus off of, hey, Lyra's recovering through this whole time. So I really loved it. And at the end, Becky Lynch gets the big win, and she's going to be the Intercontinental title. She got that big, huge reaction when she told Nikki Bella, who you had to know when Nikki Bella opened her mouth about husband, it was coming, and she says, you know, her and her husband are the greatest wrestling couple, and hey, that used to belong to you, and and the fan goes like, oh, and she goes like, that's right, you can't see him anymore. And a crowd is going like, oh, that was one of the biggest reactions. So you know, looking at if that's going to be more what we're getting with Becky Lynch as the Intercontinental Championship, and getting her featured and getting the Intercontinental title for the women's featured on the main card is going to be very interesting. And I did like on Monday Night Raw how Lyra Valkyrie's like, we're not friends, we're not enemies, we're just nothing, and I just want you out of my life. And I thought that was a really interesting take to go about it and stuff, where you're keeping both women sort of baby faces. So overall, I did like the aftermath to what the consequences of this match was, and hopefully Triple H starts booking the Women's United States Championship more and gets them and gets that title as well to finish disappointed on some of these PLE stuff. Yeah, what you're doing with Becky Lynch and the Intercontinental title, I would like to see also being done with the United States Women's Championship. But overall, getting back to the match here, my hat's off. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have given us 4 really great, strong matches in WWE, and as they take a break from this, I'm looking forward when they eventually have a 5th match somewhere down the road. So Holly, I think is how you say it. Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining the chat. I really appreciate it. All right, there was a lot to keep up with this match. Our number 3 entry, the 6-pack TLC match. So basically this match was the Wyatt Six consisting of Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy versus DIY consisting of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus the Street Profits consisting of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins versus Faxium consisting of Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus the Motor City Machine Guns consisting of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus Andrade and Rey Fenix. Woo, that was a mouthful to say. I'm not going to recap all this, but this match was insane. There was no other match but 2 that left me blown away, constantly in shock, because yeah, a lot of people are gonna probably say it was a big giant spot fest, but man, this match was just, it had everything for TLC. You know, I grew up on the original OG TLC matches going back to SummerSlam 2000, and even before that, the matches that Edge and Christian and the Dudleys were having respectively, like Royal Rumble 2000, No Mercy 1999. So I've seen a lot of stuff in my time as a wrestling fan. And yeah, these guys came up with a lot of creative spots, and that's hard to do, so much props to them. I mean, from the time that you had like there was one point where you just had move after move after move after move from the outside of the ring to the tables. Montez Ford getting launched to a table, but he jumps over. The cool spot where you got Tommaso Ciampa being like Spider-Man and using his core strength to hang up upside down to avoid creating another big moment of like Edge going off the top of the rope to Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania 17. Candice LeRae taking that amazing bump. By the way, that Spanish Fly, which was one of those moves where they kept doing like each table spot one right after another outside the ring, was sick. Just, man, everybody shined. Everybody looked good in this match. This match was mind-blowing, and it was shocking. Like I said, there was nothing else other than 2 matches on this card that I would say just left me blown away. Amazing. And I think it's great that the athleticism was able to show that shows you how these matches have evolved and stuff. So I got nothing but praise for everybody in the match. The fans seemed disappointed at the Wyatt 6-1. I'm thinking maybe Andrade and Rey Fenix were going to pick up a big win, but I figured it's too soon to put the titles on the Wyatt Six and then have them drop the titles here. So they did. They won their matches, but yeah, watch this match. Incredible. It's gonna go down as one of the craziest and I think greatest TLC matches of all time. And the fact that I had to make it my top 3 entries tells you exactly just how much I thought of this match. It really, to me, outshine a lot of everything else that was on the card. And like I just said, the matches I got done talking about, they were strong matches, I thought. So it's not even a hit at those matches. It's just, man, this thing, I'm gonna remember this for a long time to come. So many highlights of this. All right, number 2, the Ring General Gunther versus CM Punk for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There was no other match. Like, this was, when night 1 was over, I put this as my number 1 match, and I was curious to see on night 2 what would outdo it. And as you can see by its ranking, there was but only one match that I thought outdid this. But when looking at the entire weekend, Gunther and CM Punk, to me, was an A+ main event that outshined everything else on a match, like I said, that had some strong matches on this card. CM Punk, Gunther went out there and told a phenomenal story. The way Gunther beat down CM Punk with chop after chop after chop. Man, they were, and then CM Punk would come back as well, and both were bleeding like from the chest. He had like Gunther bleeding from the chest, and CM Punk was taking a massive beat down in this, massive beat down. And man, CM Punk, the way he was fighting back and finding whatever way he could to overcome Gunther, and no matter what Gunther did, he just could not put this guy away. And the way it played into the finish, where Gunther just starts getting confident because he thinks he's got Punk right where he wants him, and CM Punk swoops him under his leg, swoops his leg, and he goes like face first into the table, which is where I think you got a blade job or a capsule, and you see over here CM Punk basically, that's where he started getting that big win, that big comeback and everything. And Gunther, the way the blood was coming down, he was like trying to back off, and he didn't know how to react, and he was freaking out because he's never seen his own blood. Was a great way to implement how Gunther has rarely, if ever, maybe his first time being busted open, and they were saying that messes with an athlete. This is a situation, a vulnerable situation he's never found himself in, and CM Punk took advantage of that and was able to get the GTS, and he's standing up, the first time, and then he hits that second GTS, and when CM Punk got that pinfall, 1, 2, 3, got a huge reaction. I was running around in my living room. I was like, yes, CM Punk. It was so great to see as a longtime CM Punk fan, because growing up, even during the John Cena time as the face of the company, Batista and CM Punk, those were my guys. So man, it was just great, and it was emotional. As you can see, CM Punk crying right there. It was emotional because this is a guy that we thought this would never be possible. Imagine trying to explain to someone back in 2014 and 2014/2015 that this day would come about 10 years later or something like that. Man, from everything he had with the bad blood, why he left, and to basically the whole way everything ended up for him at AEW, for him to come back, get injured, and then at SummerSlam 2024, like I said, steal the show there, and then having a phenomenal match and feud with Drew McIntyre, which I thought was feud of the year for 2024, 2024, and then for him to come back and finally main event WrestleMania, and then go on to win the World Championship here in the main event in SummerSlam 2025. This has been a really incredible year for CM Punk, a true redemption story, and what a great way, as CM Punk can close out, the ending of his career here in professional wrestling. WWE, he's having a really great run so far, and I've really enjoyed it. And man, he just went in there, being a great storyteller, great match. I love this match so much. Like I said, there's only one match that outdid it, but I thought it was great. And then obviously it ties into the whole finish with Seth Rollins, which was a great moment in itself. Like I said, I just had to put that match the lowest on the card because it is a match, yeah, but as a moment, man, this is great. And the way it just really followed suit with what happened with Drew McIntyre, how he got his moment, and he had it for like 5 minutes, and I think he had it even a little shorter. CM Punk had it shorter than even Drew McIntyre. So I thought this stuff was just great stuff all around. CM Punk and Gunther just went out there, and just Gunther's one of the best in WWE when it comes to being in the ring general, taking that ring mat very sacred, as he often says, and CM Punk showing what he can do here. I can't say enough good things about this match. Certainly my second favorite match. However, there is but only one match that outdid it. And so, we come to our number one entrant, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE or now they call it the Undisputed, because they're trying to let you know what title matters the most, the Undisputed WWE Championship in a street fight. Alrighty, so, man, when you thought, for me, thinking that CM Punk and Gunther probably couldn't be topped, man, these guys went out there and told an amazing story, an amazing back and forth adrenaline rushing contest. John Cena's performance here, this was the best in-ring John Cena performance in years. I'm talking going back to Royal Rumble 2017, where he defeated AJ Styles to win his 16th world title. It has been a long time since we've seen in-ring John Cena like this, or as JBL would call him, Big Match John. And this is already coming in a time frame to me where I honestly thought that John Cena and Cody Rhodes, a time where John Cena I thought had strong matches with Randy Orton and CM Punk this year. So when I'm looking at things like that, man, it's crazy to think that WWE was able to get this. They were able to have John Cena grace his presence with an awesome match like this. The back and forth, the kicking out of multiple finishers, them going into the crowd and brawling it out, and you were just wondering, is this going to be like the old Stone Cold storyline? But it was clean. The thing about this match is the swerve was that there was no swerve. This was as clean as it can be. I really love Cody Rhodes having that much more aggressive side to him, just being way more aggressive. I really love that that he toned out the audience with that. John Cena even had the part where he picks up the championship and he's like, no, I'm gonna go out the way I know I'm gonna go out, the way that I'm gonna be loyal to myself with the whole hustle, loyalty, respect. Doing the attitude adjustment from the Spanish announce table through the English announce table. And I really love that they had like parts where usually when John Cena or Cody Rhodes find their opponents on the receiving end of their opponents kicking out of their finishing moves, they did the classic finishers where John Cena hit multiple attitude adjustments and he goes up to the top rope and does the big attitude adjustment and Cody Rhodes kicks out. And then they did the part where Cody Rhodes hits 3 consecutive crossroads, which is enough to finish Roman Reigns off. And then we get to the part here where basically you have the thing is that Roman Reigns didn't kick out, but here John Cena did indeed kick out of that. It's like, oh, okay, so which way is this finishing? You know, which way is this gonna go? How's it gonna finish? And so that really, I think, really helped make the match, and that's why I didn't mind the multiple finishers kick out. And in the end, of course, Cody Rhodes does finally get that awesome moment where John Cena, he's on the bottom rope and he goes ahead and gives a salute to basically be like, yeah, I got to put you down, John Cena. And he hits that final crossroads and gets the 1, 2, 3 to win back the undisputed WWE Championship. And the moment at the end where John Cena gives the championship over to Cody Rhodes and they had that emotional embrace, and it's really good. They called it a passing of the torch moment, but really, Cody Rhodes was already, if anything, Roman Reigns passed the torch to Cody Rhodes. But they like to do these moments because obviously Andre the Giant did it for Hulk Hogan back at WrestleMania 3, and then Hulk Hogan did the same thing for The Rock at WrestleMania 18, and then from there, The Rock did the same thing for John Cena in that very same stadium, MetLife, at WrestleMania 29, and now all these years later, John Cena doing the same thing for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania at SummerSlam 2025. Yeah, this is the match they should have had at WrestleMania. This match right here blew away their WrestleMania match, hands down. So much better. And I thought it was such a great back and forth. These guys went almost, 35-40 minutes or so, and I was invested the whole entire time. And yeah, it was such a awesome back and forth clash that easily I had to put this at number 1. It was the only thing that outdid the CM Punk Gunther match. And it made for SummerSlam ultimately between my 2 entries on this list. I thought SummerSlam overall ended up being a B+. It was a B+ show with 2 A+ main events, making for me what I thought overall a very good SummerSlam. I can't say enough good things about this main event. This is probably the best John Cena match we're probably gonna have on his tour. I'll be shocked if he's able to blow away with performances like this. I'm not sure how much his body can hold up doing a performance like this, but I'm glad he was able to do it and give us one of the all-time greats for this. And then when you get over here, to the finish, Brock Lesnar comes out and takes out John Cena. And there you go from there. That was a huge shocking moment I didn't see coming, because like I said, I thought they were going to wait for this whole Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon lawsuit stuff to make their final decision on whether to bring Brock Lesnar back or not. But that was an incredible shocking moment, and I guess a lot of people ended up talking more about this, so that's why I wanted to remind people on this list with this number one ranking, do not let the Brock Lesnar return distract you from how truly great and epic of a main event John Cena and Cody Rhodes had. That's going to go down as one of the greatest SummerSlam main events and greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. And I'm glad, and I mean, don't get me wrong too, I was not a big, like I mentioned earlier, I was a CM Punk and a Batista guy. John Cena was not one of my favorites. You know, I didn't like back then how Vince McMahon would often book John Cena, and it was crazy because we were getting Super Cena chants here, and that was exactly the reason what a lot of people didn't like it, and I wasn't a fan of it myself with the whole Cena, you know, the whole Cena, with the whole thing about going on with about like the Super Cena days and all that stuff. But I always acknowledge that John Cena certainly could put on an epic match when they got away from the formula of him getting beat up for 15-20 minutes and he comes back with the 5 moves of doom and then he wins. There you go. Because like, man, I was there in person for John Cena and CM Punk at Money in the Bank 2011, and man, Cena went all out in that match, and he did here. So this is really good. I'm glad we got a match like this. I'm proud of these guys and what they put on. Phenomenal match that we can always remember for throughout WWE history. So enough, just can't say enough good praises about this match indeed. And yes, the ending with Brock Lesnar was shocking in terms of where they go from there and stuff like that. Yeah, so overall, like I said, I thought WWE SummerSlam 2025, we had a few things early on in this list as a match, you know, excluding the CM Punk and Seth Rollins cash in, because it was more of a moment. Yeah, like I said, a couple of those matches were kind of a little bit downer for me, but everything else was pretty good, solid matches, good matches, and then we had some really A+ main events, making overall what I thought was a very strong SummerSlam indeed. So for sure, gonna go over to the chat now. Oh, it says there was a major outage in terms of my caster, labs, which is what I use to see what chat's going on in both the vertical and horizontal chats. So not sure what's going on there with that and stuff. So let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Malin says hi. Okay, I don't think I did. I don't think I missed anything here. So yeah, all right, so getting there. Malin says WWE or AEW. I like both products, but I do tend to enjoy WWE, especially now ever since Triple H took over. I tend to enjoy WWE more, just because to me WWE delivers a lot on the storyline. Like WWE and AEW both deliver strong matches, very strong matches, but I think WWE tends to edge them out more with the storylines. But props to AEW. AEW actually has, I feel, come a long way in terms of their storylines and where we were a year ago. So I really have enjoyed the AEW product in 2025 more so than what was going on with them in 2024. But I'm just, as a wrestling fan, I'm glad that we've got two major WWE companies. Not only is it better for the talent, they've got places to go, more places to go if one doesn't work out for them. As a fan, we've got more options, and that's always good for the professional wrestling business. So yeah, as a storyline guy, I do tend to think WWE is stronger with the storylines, and thus I enjoy the WWE product better. But AEW and WWE, when it comes to the in-ring action, man, both are strong. And like I said, AEW, to their credit, I think has been stepping it up in the storyline department. All right, we got Chip Osorio, sorry if I mispronounced that, says Brock Lesnar is back and I don't give a damn who is mad about it. Get over it. The beast is back, ready to go back hurting people. All right, he's happy that Brock Lesnar is back. And hey, man, WWE gonna do what they gonna do. They said their legal team looked into the matter and crossed over it and basically said, hey, it's safe to bring him back. So that's what WWE did. Hey, WWE executives, they're a bunch of grown men and grown women who can make their own grown men and grown women decisions, and thus they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I am interested to see where they go with some of the Brock Lesnar matches. We got Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, that we can go. You know, you've got some of those explosive powerhouses that have been built up now. So definitely a lot to work with for Brock Lesnar. I'm not sure about how I feel about a Brock Lesnar and John Cena match though in 2025. I was there in person for their 2012 Extreme Rules match, which is one of the most brutal matches in WWE history. And then of course, you know, after that SummerSlam, he got the beginning of Suplex City back in SummerSlam 2024. I'm all over the place. SummerSlam 2014. So yeah, I wonder what that match would look like. But if they're gonna have it in Paris, man, the crowd atmosphere should be hot for that and everything. So yeah, it looks like we're on the verge of one more John Cena and Brock Lesnar match. He also says, it's impossible for me to be distracted. In my case, I have to be distracted because Brock Lesnar is one of my idols. So yeah, there you go. Chip is very happy to see Brock Lesnar back. Hey, Brock Lesnar, one of the all-time greats. Back when Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock retired, Brock Lesnar was my guy. That 2002 to 2004 period that Brock Lesnar was around initially in WWE, he was my top favorite wrestler at the time. So in the void of my two all-time favorites then being retired / semi-retired, man, Brock Lesnar is incredible. And I mean, as a performer, there's no one like Brock Lesnar to be that size and be that agile, to have the legitimacy and just how fast of an athlete he is. Incredible. And I was saying, even coming back here at 48 years of age, the way he got in the ring and seeing how quickly he was able to dash in the ring and dodge John Cena's punches and goes for that knee and show off that strength of his with the F5, like, man, like, even though he's almost 50 years old, Brock Lesnar still an athletic freak, and it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, in terms of what he's done professional wrestling, my gosh, Brock Lesnar, yeah, one of the all-time greats for sure. Chip says, WWE and UFC, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't care if it was boxing. No one is safe with Brock Lesnar around. Plain and simple. Yeah, what he did in UFC as well. Brock Lesnar, absolutely. What he did in WWE and UFC. And then he says, Manny Pacquiao is one of my idols too, and no one is safe in boxing either. I don't follow boxing that much, but I have heard of the name Manny Pacquiao, and that just shows you how big a deal he was in boxing. The fact that someone like me who doesn't follow boxing, even I know that name. So yeah, he definitely must have transcended boxing for sure. Yeah, Brock Lesnar in boxing, I'm not too sure. In UFC, he definitely, if you look at his matches with Cain Velasquez, he's certainly even with who was it that he choked out? Oh my gosh, I forget who's the fighter that Brock Lesnar fought. It's on the Shane Carlin. I don't know how I was about to look it up. I watched that match, that UFC fight live. Yeah, when Brock Lesnar came up against a superior striker, yeah, it really wasn't a good time in the ring for Brock Lesnar. But I would never diminish what he's done in UFC, because still to get in there, and he had a legitimate wrestling background. Man, he had a legitimate wrestling background, and he certainly used that to his advantage in UFC. I think, like Joe Rogan said, had Brock Lesnar really committed full time to UFC early and had got the camp needed to make him all around fighter, he could have been one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and of course not dealing with the diverticulitis and stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, man, in terms of what he's accomplished in WWE and UFC, Brock Lesnar absolutely one of the best. A man, Zane, says, how are you, bro? I'm good. I'm doing good. You know, I'm happy here to be, it's always a great time to wake up every morning and everything and stuff and continue to enjoy life. I'm happy to be interacting with you all here in the chat, talking some good pro wrestling. So yeah, definitely, for sure. And thank you all for being engaging in the chat. All right, so while I'm live streaming, this is the portion where I'm actually going to go ahead and talk about the John Cena 2025 heel run. I'm going to repurpose this then as a own standalone video, so I'm going to reintroduce myself here. So thank you all for hanging out, still joining the chat. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and deep dive into the John Cena long-awaited heel turn and heel run. Shout out into the chat. Ammon says, I am a biggest fan of John Cena and you. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, man, my guys are Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, but I understand a lot of people grew up on John Cena and that's how they got into wrestling. So much happy for you. I'm glad that John Cena was able to be your guy and what resonated with you in pro wrestling. We waited so long to have the John Cena heel run, and in 2025, we got it. And unfortunately, it fell short of the glory. Hey everybody, SonGoshuaku here, ready to talk about the 2025 John Cena heel run. So, I grew up in the New Generation era and got hooked during the Attitude Era. So I was definitely before John Cena's time. So I was like a teenager growing up during the big John Cena babyface run. And when that was going on, man, you know, you had a lot of people complaining at the time about the whole Super Cena. And I was still learning about the business. In fact, it was shout out to my boy Aaron Riff of NoDQ.com. I learned more about how, you know, John Cena, he's doing what Vince McMahon says. He's doing all that stuff and everything. And stuff like that. So as I grew and had more appreciation learning about the business, I warmed up to John Cena. And I always admit it though, even before I found that out, John Cena I thought has had some of the best matches in WWE history. Love that I Quit match going back with JBL, and then the matches with CM Punk, which I attended live, Money in the Bank 2011, phenomenal. That was my favorite match in person, and the stuff he was doing during his US title reign, man, good stuff. Everything. So I despite me not being the biggest John Cena fan, I've never allowed that to hold me back from saying that he couldn't have great matches. He absolutely could, but the issue was very much like Roman Reigns after him. It was the booking. The way Vince McMahon through so much of his run pushed him as Super Cena, you know, it was like, we need something fresh, something new, whether it was a heel or a face turn. And for us, so many of us, we wanted the heel, and it looked like that was going to happen with The Rock when he wrestled him in 2012. And of course, we didn't get it. And John Cena said he made new music, new gear, but Vince McMahon got cold feet, and we never got it. So when John Cena announced his retirement tour, I was saying, now's the time. We've had 20 plus years of the same old John Cena being the old hustle, loyalty, respect. I'm like, give us something new in this last run. Because I thought it would be awesome if John Cena could go heel and knock it out of the park, and we could be like, just the way we were saying with like Hulk Hogan, like, man, he did the whole red and yellow babyface thing, and then he went over to the New World Order thing, and then we went over to Roman Reigns, who was doing the big dog thing for so long, and then he became the tribal chief, and we were blown away. I always wanted to see that for John Cena's career, but obviously as time went by, John Cena became more loved by the fans, especially as that fan base that were kids grew up into their early 20s. You know, now it was like a nostalgia act for John Cena. And I think for fans my generation, a lot of us were seeing that Cena's in-ring work. Certainly he was reinventing himself in the ring, putting out some better matches than we've ever seen before. And I think a lot of people, we softened up to John Cena over time in terms of that. And I think that's what really happened. But I still said we needed that heel turn, and thus enter WWE Elimination Chamber 2025. And he hugged Cody Rhodes, and he kicked John Cena in the ball. He hugged Cody Rhodes, and John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls, and from there joined The Rock and Travis Scott, and we were off to the races. What a moment. It got me up. I was watching with my father at the time, and I remember I was at his house and I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, they're doing it. I was like, man, the thing I thought we would never get, and man, we got it. And I even predicted it on the No DQ review before that Elimination Chamber show, and I was like, yes, finally, man. Arguably, I'm gonna say it was one of the biggest heel turns in WWE history. I'm not saying runs, keyword turns. In terms of heel turns, this has got to be up there. I'm talking, it's got to be up there with Roman Reigns heel turn. It's got to be up there with Hulk Hogan's heel turn. It's gonna go down as one of the greatest heel turns in WWE or professional wrestling history. And I emphasize once again, I'm talking about turns, not runs. And man, just looking at that site right there, we were off to the races like, holy crap, this WrestleMania build up is going to be phenomenal. And then the run happens. 2 weeks without even saying anything after one of the biggest turns. Like, man, people knew about it. Like, I saw one of my best friends, she doesn't even watch wrestling, and I remember she was telling me that she even knew about it because one of her friends was telling her, because she's a big Kingdom Hearts fan, one of her friends was telling her, like, understand the significance of this. This is like, I think she said her friend was like Sora joining what's the dark, the dark shadowy things from Kingdom Hearts. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in a while, but you all know what I'm thinking. I forget what they're called, and everything like that. But yeah, it was insane. People were talking about it. This was something that transcended wrestling, and I don't understand why they didn't even go as far as to record stuff with John Cena. I thought they should have recorded stuff with John Cena. The Heartless. Thank you, Brandon, in the chat for letting me know the Heartless. Yes, the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. So they do this thing where John Cena doesn't record anything, and I'm like, you should have sit him down. You were at Elimination Chamber, and you start teasing something, video packages. But we get to London, and John Cena cuts that first initial promo, and I thought it was great. Him talking about how the fans turned their back on him and he was in an abusive relationship. I thought the first one was great. He didn't acknowledge The Rock. And I'm like, okay, they still got a few weeks left to go. He comes back the next week and he says more or less the same thing and still doesn't acknowledge The Rock. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? And him and Cody finally have their face off, and the promo he cut on Cody Rhodes was really good stuff. That was like kind of like going back to that savage side of John Cena. Him and Cody Rhodes, I thought, had a really good back and forth heading into WrestleMania, and we're still wondering, like, okay, is The Rock gonna show up? Travis Scott was gonna go on here, and I did like that John Cena worked a more methodical style than he usually did in his match with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. But you had Travis Scott take that long walk down to the ring, and a lot of people felt it just killed it. And you have WWE actively having their talent now bury that moment in Travis Scott almost in their appearances. And we get to John Cena doing the low blow and the belt, and he wins his 17th title, and the fans are going crazy. It's hard for the fans to boo John Cena because at this point they're like, you know what? We don't care if he's babyface or heel. John Cena it's the last time to see John Cena. So yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying, that this came too late. They should have did it back in 2012 when fans were still actively booing John Cena. And we got No Rock and Travis, and now that we've gotten more stuff out, and I haven't seen the Unreal series as of August 5th, 2025, when I'm live streaming this. I haven't seen Unreal yet, so I'm not sure how much they go into detail about it in the Unreal series, so I'll check it out eventually. But I still say what I said. The moment they knew The Rock was not going to be able to commit to this, I don't blame them for bringing The Rock in and utilizing him when you can, but a simple idea of John Cena saying, even you don't get The Rock because you don't deserve The Rock, and saying The Rock's not going to be a part about it, it's going to be me. You should have been very clear to the audience right from the start, but they weren't. It's like they were just waiting out to see, is The Rock going to show up? And then they get to WrestleMania, he's not going to show up, but we'll still send Travis Scott out there. So that whole thing was a mess in how they handled it. Like I said, I don't mind The Rock being a part of the heel turn, but they should have they owed it to the fans. WWE owed it to the fans to put some sort of explanation in the storyline right off the bat that The Rock wasn't going to be a part of this, just so you don't temper with expectations of fans going in, like, are we going to see The Rock? Are we going to see The Rock? So yeah, you had that. But yeah, John Cena, he then goes into a feud with Randy Orton, and this is where I think some of the issues are coming in, the promos. John Cena can have a different variety. When you've seen him go in on like Roman Reigns, or you see him go in on AJ Styles, or and stuff like that, and some of his best babyface promos are the Usos. You know, Cena, he has his moments when he could talk, and he has like a certain style when the way he talks and everything and stuff like that. Or he'll get into the yelling and all that yelling and stuff. But it seemed like he kept for the longest time, Cena kept going on about the fans, abusive relationship and yelling, and it's like, okay, I get it. He doesn't like how the fans treated him back in the day, but I wanted to get past that and do more. Like when him and Randy Orton are talking, he's talking about, I thought it was nice to bring up the whole where he's talking about I think Randy Orton was talking about John Cena. He parent shaming John Cena. That was interesting, see Randy Orton in a different dynamic as the babyface, Cena as the heel. But this is where I wanted to see Cena become more cocky and more arrogant, and him go in more talking about how Randy Orton, he said Randy Orton does the bare minimum, but I would have loved to see him talking about how I always beat you and I was always better, and just see John Cena take on a more arrogant, cocky persona. Instead, it was just what you see there in the image that I used for this. It was just stone-faced Cena talking about, you people, you abuse me in this relationship, and I wanted to see more of that. But match-wise, I thought Randy Orton and John Cena absolutely killed it. I thought they had a great match. One of the best Randy Orton John Cena matches we've seen. So I really did enjoy the match at Backlash, and the crowd atmosphere was insane. Also, I got to admit here, this was a really awesome part of the heel turn. Or I should say, this was a really awesome part of the heel run. I love the whole introduction where in the presentation, I did enjoy like them doing the backdrop where it's all black, the simple white text, and Cena would always point to you, come over here and do the announcement right, where they would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, gracing insert city here with his presence for the final time, the last real champion, John Cena!" Like, I love that introduction. I was trying to sing along with it and everything. I ended up transcribing it right here into my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget any part of it. I am going to miss that. That was awesome. Another thing, he didn't do different music and he didn't do different attire. And the thing about the music was, for me, with that was, I wanted to hear what was that track he completed. Why not use that track that he completed in 2012 if it was completed? So I was like, what's up with that? And then coming out to no new gear, and I get it. That's what made us want to boo them. When he said in the promo, you do not get new music, you do not get new attire, you get nothing, because that is what you have earned, is nothing. So yeah, okay, it is what it is. Alrighty, okay. Yeah, it makes us boo and everything, but I say I don't care. Hulk Hogan came out in the black and white and the NWO, and hey, yeah, he was seen as the cool heel, but whatever. We still remember it to this day. Roman Reigns changed up his gear, his music, his gear. He got in the best shape of his life and started taking the shirt off. And then he had, the new sneakers and the different color wrists and handband glove that he would wear and stuff. And you know what, even though fans were cheering for him and all that stuff, it's still memorable. So I don't care if the fans would have cheered anyway. I would have loved to seen new gear and hear that 2012 theme that John made and stuff like that. But overall, I will give him credit. The entrance was sick. I love the entrance and the way he would come out not running, and then the way he would sit to the ring apron with his back turned against the camera with the championship facing facing backwards. Like, I loved it. The entrance was good. I'm going to miss it, and it did grow on me. The act did grow on me on in terms of that. And then we transitioned, I think, from there after Backlash, it was the whole R-Truth stuff and everything that they did on Saturday night's main event. And once again, this is where the heel turn was running. A lot of people were saying, including Aaron Riff of NoDQ.com, John Cena should have certainly did a brutal, vicious beatdown. I'm talking about like when Stone Cold Steve Austin was heel, he brutalized Jim Ross and Michael Cole and what was it, Hardy Boys and Lita. That type of thing that they did is what they should have had John Cena. If he would have beaten viciously beating down R-Truth, maybe if they would have agreed to do some color and stuff and everything, that probably would have got a lot of heat because people loved R-Truth, and they kind of had like a match that didn't do anything. Like, they just had R-Truth come out as John Cena and do some cosplay moves, and then John Cena put him away on Saturday night's main event. It's like, yeah, once again, and I think that was the issue. It just felt like pain, and he kept doing the thing, low blow kick, the championship, the talking about he's the last real champion events, and it just felt it got to the point where it just felt like, man, they're not really utilizing all this. Like, I grew up in a time where Triple H was one of the most vicious heels. The way he was beating down The Rock and Stone Cold and talking about how I crippled them, like, those are the beatdowns I wanted to see John Cena getting. I wanted to see John Cena become some of the most vicious savage, both on the mic and with his actions, but they weren't. It was just very basic stuff, and it's like, it just seems like someone here is not committing. Like, whether it be the storylines, maybe they don't want to get in there, and I get it. They created all this merchandise for John Cena. They obviously spent this a year in advance, and they wanted to make sure they still got their money's worth for whatever it cost to make that merchandise, to get that money back for every city. And it's a smart thing to do. And I did appreciate that it at least did make it most of his gear black and stuff like that. So there you go on that part. And of course, eventually, I think the first promo, though, that really stood out to me, going like, oh, where we started getting the real good Cena promos, was when they, chose not to renew R-Truth's deal, and the fans are chanting, "We want truth. We want truth. We want truth." And John Cena goes like, you want the truth? He says, well, here is the truth. I'm the last real champion, and you can't handle the truth. No, I think that's what he said. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth, right? That was a great promo. He probably improvised that, and that got a lot of crowd heat. I'm like, see, that's the John Cena we need to be seeing for this heel run. And he had that Money in the Bank where it's him and Logan Paul going up against who did they face? It was him versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. I think that was at Money in the Bank, and you get the return of R-Truth, and that was a big, huge segment. And they eventually do R-Truth in John Cena, which is certainly not a match that was probably planned. It was more serious, but they didn't have any plan, you could tell, with it, as far as because they didn't expect the backlash for R-Truth getting or Ron Killens being what was it, eliminated, Ron Killens being getting so over with the audience when they chose not to release him. So their match, though, was a little bit better than what you got on Saturday night's main event. It was kind of just a backdrop for him and CM Punk, which I really did enjoy, by the way, him throwing CM Punk through the table, and the way he did CM Punk's he ripped off a CM Punk's promo, one of the best John Cena heel promos we got. And this is what I was saying, even though I didn't do a review for it on this channel, CM Punk and John Cena truly brought out the best in each other. They always have, and I think that's even for this heel run. And I enjoyed CM Punk trying to rip off of John Cena's basic thugonomics when they went over to Saudi Arabia. And that was a great promo too, when he's like, you'll get your match with me, CM Punk, but you'll get it in Saudi Arabia, and called him a hypocrite. And this is where I feel like, okay, the John Cena heel run is getting really good. We're now getting to much better creative promos that John Cena is delivering there. So I really enjoyed that. I love their match that they had at, what was it, Night of Champions. Good stuff. CM Punk and John Cena, they killed it in the Elimination Chamber, and I thought they killed it when they went out there. Not to the matches that they had back at Money in the Bank or even on Raw in 2013 or some of those other matches they had also at Night of Champions in 2012. But it was still very good. They still had that chemistry, and the matches with them, I thought, man, was really good. The match they had there, it's a shame they had to get completely at the end overbooked and stuff, because they were trying to keep John Cena protected with the fact that he had to cheat against Randy Orton, cheat against CM Punk. But I still thought phenomenal overall. I really enjoyed the John Cena CM Punk matches, I was saying here in the ranking video for SummerSlam. So I really felt like this summer John Cena was really starting they were starting to go in the right direction with the heel turn or the heel run. And then of course, we had Cody Rhodes come back, and John Cena's, I can't go ahead and do this match. I can't do it and stuff like that. And then he knocks out, Cody Rhodes knocks out John Cena and then forges his signature. And we get the really good promo when John Cena comes back and basically says that, I guess this was finally our official reason behind The Rock and Travis Scott, because he says to Cody Rhodes is that you woke me up from who I am, and woke me up to be who I truly am, and it's not coming out here basically doing this and not acting like myself because I was talked in about how it would be shocking TV from people who eventually would end up abandoning me, talking about basically how The Rock and Travis Scott abandoned him after that. And I guess that was our official thing, and they could have just said that from the start or something like that. But but it was a great promo as far as him going back into babyface. The only thing about that is that John Cena, they were even teasing it like he was still, going out and basically just holding the title up regularly like he was, and still coming out with the black screen and the light. So I was like, okay, this is going to be like the old Stone Cold. But sure enough, he came in during his match with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam 2025, SummerSlam 2025, and he went back to the babyface entrance. At first, they made it look like it was going to be the heel Cena entrance, and he went back into the full throttle babyface entrance, getting all energetic and running down, and they had an amazing match. And at the end, John Cena, he didn't decide to use the title, and he embraced Cody Rhodes and really put him over as, he is the guy. He is the face of WWE now. And with Brock Lesnar's return, they firmly established that it's going to be heel Brock Lesnar against babyface John Cena, and thus the John Cena heel turn has come to an end. So how will we look back on this heel run? Will we look back on it kindly? I see somebody in the chat right now. Chip says NWO Hulk Hogan and John Cena was really boring. So wow, I think a lot of people would definitely disagree with you on NWO Hulk Hogan, or that maybe it did eventually get to that point. But essentially what you said about John Cena was really boring. That's what a lot of people, they felt the heel turn just wasn't doing it. They felt it wasn't. I personally, and shout out to Notorious Heels podcast, I thought they made a great point where they were saying that they think when the dust is settled and John Cena's heel run, he feels like people are going to look back on this probably a year from now in 2026 and be like, man, we should have appreciated the John Cena heel run more than what we did. Well, you know what? I'm glad to say that I am appreciating it, because it didn't live up to what I was hoping. But I'm still glad we got it, because like I said at the beginning of this video, we needed John Cena to do something new and fresh. And I don't think this build up, and I don't think these matches would have been exciting if it would have been the same old John Cena. It was refreshing to see a heel Cena going into WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. It was refreshing to finally see a babyface Randy Orton versus a heel John Cena, a babyface CM Punk versus a heel John Cena. These were new, different takes on these feuds that we never got before, and I'm glad we got it. Yeah, it was a little tame. Yeah, it didn't live up to its full potential, but you know what? It's better, as they say, it's better to try something in life and fail than to never try something at all and wonder what if. yeah, the Cena heel run didn't turn out to what it needed to be, but I'm glad WWE at least tried. I'm glad that before John Cena called it quits, we can say we got it. But I think what held it back from being as great as it can be, shout out to my boy Steve-O of Too Sweet Cosplay, them not wanting to commit to new music, them not wanting to commit to new gear, them holding back, I think Cena, the whole Rock and Travis Scott thing that turned into a big mess from the start. These are the things that I think really held it back. And then the promos, like I said, waiting all the way until really you get to the CM Punk feud, I think, to where we started getting kind of what John Cena's promos were like, and then doing the heel, but only in the heel version the version of the heel run, heel sense. I felt like that kind of is what really made it not live up to its full potential. But I'm glad we got it. I love the entrance. Like I said, the ring announcement, it really grew on me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the John Cena heel turn for what it was, and I'm glad we got a fresh take on John Cena after him doing the same old thing for so long, and I appreciate it for that. The last 4 months, we're going to get John Cena as a babyface, but yeah, I'm glad we got it. Overall, I'm in the middle in terms of John Cena. I think there was enough good in this John Cena heel run that I cannot say it was the worst heel run of all time, or it's among the worst heel run. I think there was enough good stuff here that kept it from that. But unfortunately, the issues that I mentioned, I feel will forever keep it from being the greatest, among the greatest babyface, greatest heel runs. Can't put it up there with Hulk Hogan. Can't put it up there with Roman Reigns when it came to them turning heel. But hey, I can put this over the Stone Cold Steve Austin heel run. And hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin is my all favorite. And I see there's been a lot of talk about Stone Cold in the chat that I'm going to get here. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, his heel run right there, man, it was tough to watch Austin crying and hugging Vince McMahon. But he also had his funny moments. There was a lot of great entertaining moments we got of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the matches were good. But it did bad for business, and it really took all the way till just now in recent years for WWE to recover from that. WWE's in such a good place business-wise that the John Cena heel turn obviously didn't do bad business. I mean, look, they sold a ton of that merchandise, and that's always what John Cena's done. Sold a ton of merchandise for WWE. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm thankful we got it. It unfortunately unfortunately did not live up to its full potential, but I'm glad we got the John Cena heel run, and that's my overall take on John Cena's heel run, the good and the bad. Overall, it had its moments, but man, it was too much in the middle. It was like, yeah, this is good, but then that's good. It's just too much of a middle of the run heel run. Like, what do people like to say? Mid, that's the popular thing now. Yeah, it was a mid heel run. I wouldn't say it was the worst, but I can't say it was the best. It was mid. But granted, I'm thankful for what we got, because we sit through the same old thing with John Cena for the longest time, and I'm glad we got at least something of a different take on it and everything. All right, let's go back to the chat here and see what everyone else had to say here. What we had here. All right. Man says, do you watch Brock Lesnar versus John Cena? So I don't know if you're asking if I watch or do I want John Cena. I mentioned earlier on the stream, I'm not sure what this match looks like in 2025, because I don't think it's going to go as brutal as their Extremes 2012 match, and I don't know if we want to see a repeat of the Suplex City match from SummerSlam 2014. But overall, I did enjoy Brock Lesnar and John Cena's matches, especially going back to Backlash 2003. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think the crowd atmosphere, as mentioned earlier, will do good for it in Paris. Let's see. JB Bad says, it was a sad time in wrestling for us older fans, as being fans. I don't know if you're meaning the John Cena, as far as older fans, or, well, I mean, I guess technically if you're like the younger generation and that grew up watching John Cena, then yeah, I could see that. I mean, I felt that way with Stone Cold's heel run. It was definitely a sad time for everybody, and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad it happened though, at least. I would have rather it happened than not happen at all, for us to sit here and wonder if. I'm glad that John Cena's heel turn is no longer one of pro wrestling's biggest what if. It doesn't go down to be one of pro wrestling's biggest what if stories. More so now a what if story if they use it to its full potential. So it's a what if story in the sense of we're no longer wondering about what if it happened. We're now wondering what if they went full throttle with it. Chip says Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of my idols too, but Stone Cold Steve Austin is not in the ring. So all I have left is my other two ring idols, Brock Lesnar and Manny Pacquiao. I miss Stone Cold. Stone Cold Steve Austin, man, I was so glad when he came back at WrestleMania 28, and I'm hoping that we still get that match with CM Punk before Stone Cold fully 100% calls it a day, and everything. But yeah, I got you. That's cool. Brock Lesnar and Manny Pacquiao, your guys. Like I said, when Austin and The Rock retired / semi-retired in that 2003-2004 period, Brock Lesnar was my guy, so I could totally understand where you're coming from there. A man says, did you see Goldberg's match? His last match? Yes, I did. And actually, I got a video on my channel, giving my thoughts on Goldberg's last match, so I would highly recommend check it out there on my channel if you want my thoughts and stuff. Yeah, I grew up a big Goldberg fan in my childhood, and even though I wasn't a fan of his recent booking a lot of times, the way WWE would book him, I never wanted to hold that from Goldberg being one of the biggest stars of the Monday Night War era and stuff like that. Let's see here. Chip says, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a real badass. I miss him. I wish he was still in the ring. Yeah, I wish we did get more longer with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but man, you know, after hearing what happened with Hulk Hogan's back, and from him landing on his butt so much time, maybe it was a blessing in disguise for Stone Cold, because had he wrestled like 20 more years landing on his butt from that Stone Cold Stunner, who knows what his lower back probably would have looked like, and he already had back and neck issues to begin with. But yeah, you know, I think though, even though Stone Cold Steve Austin had a shortened career, the mere fact that he has remained to be one of the all-time greats and as popular as he is, and if they still would be willing to build a WrestleMania main event around him, both in 2022 and even now, maybe 2026, as he said he would be open to doing another match. I think that going into something like that, hey man, that's a testament for just how much Stone Cold Steve Austin has meant. He personally means a lot to me as a pro wrestling fan, because Stone Cold Steve Austin is what got me hooked and made me a lifelong professional wrestling. So definitely my all-time favorite. Arjun says, hi, thanks for joining the stream, really appreciate it. Chip says, if Stone Cold Steve Austin was still in wrestling, everybody's title would be in Stone Cold's lap. Like Stone Cold would say, I can beat anyone's ass in the world. Yeah, there was no one like Stone Cold Steve Austin on the microphone, man. Oh man, gosh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of my all-time favorite, definitely bringing back great memories for me and all that stuff. A man says, do you miss Dean Ambrose? I have enjoyed his work in AEW as John Moxley. I think AEW has booked him better than mostly what he was doing in WWE. This Death Rider storyline was like that wasn't doing it for me, but overall, just being more serious, I've really enjoyed his work in AEW more. But would it be great to see him return to WWE as Dean Ambrose and see how he's booked under Triple H? I think Triple H would definitely certainly give him a lot more bigger respect, and I could eventually see him one time maybe teaming up or going against Roman and Seth Rollins, but I definitely think he'll be back for a WWE Hall of Fame induction and stuff like that. But yeah, I have enjoyed him more as John Moxley in AEW than him as Dean Ambrose in WWE, especially when you look at some of the goofy comedy stuff they had him doing, whether it was as a babyface or a heel and stuff. Ash Perez says, hey man, Today Life is Fighting is available now, aka the memoir of Karrion Kross. Yeah, WWE is heavily promoting that, and they even have WWE superstar Karrion Kross on the bottom of the text. So it's very interesting. Like, why would they do this if Kross is on his way out, you know, and like releasing it with it in print, WWE superstar, and then he's gone from the company, and now there you go, WWE Superstar. You know, the timing of it does seem off, but we'll see where that goes from there, and everything. But yeah, man, definitely it'll be interesting to hear what comes out of that with Cross and stuff. Chip says NWO Hulk Hogan and John Cena was really boring. Yeah, I read that off already. A man says John Moxley. Yep, John Moxley. The Vision Seth freaking Rollins says the Vision is in your chat. Yeah, I see the Vision. There you go. Chip says Stone Cold Steve Austin's heel was badass. He had disturbed glass shatters. Love that Disturbed Glass Shatters thing. My favorite Stone Cold theme. They recently what did they do? They recently, Disturbed actually released a new mix of it. Love it. I always work out to that theme song. Says Disturbed down with the sickness, the sound of silence. He had them as his theme. Man, yeah. Stone Cold, I still was a big fan of Stone Cold. I was still a loyal fan. Like, I love the old Stone Cold, but yeah, man, I was still a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan thick and through. That was the point where I learned at a very young age that if I love a wrestler, whether they're face or heel, I'm still going to be definitely supporting them in terms of WWE and professional wrestling. Because yeah, Stone Cold heel turn, it had its moments. Like I said, that stuff was funny that he was doing. You know, he's like, "Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya," or when Undertaker had threw him through the glass and he's like, "I got glass in my eye, Vince, where are you? I didn't do nothing to that man. He's attacked me. I'm Stone Cold. I don't deserve this." Like, that was something. Like when he had Kurt Angle, he said, "Go ahead, Kurt. I want you to cry for me, Kurt." And they kept replaying it in the video package. "Cry for me, Kurt. Cry for me, Kurt." And he said, "Well, if you ain't gonna cry for me," and he says, "that means these gold medals don't mean a damn thing to you." And he holds up, "The world title means everything to me." And he throws it and chucks it into the water. Though it was really hard when Stone Cold was crying. He's like, "I'm sorry, Kurt." And Austin's like, Kurt Angle's like, "You are pathetic," and pushes him into the kiddie pool. But the way Austin was mad, like, "I've been humiliated," he said, "You will not embarrass Stone Cold Steve Austin." And he pushes Kurt Angle off the stage. Man, yeah, I mean, heel Stone Cold still had its moments for sure, but it's not what people want to see in the business, and the business reflects that. But well, yeah, man, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I still did get my enjoyment moments out of the heel. Nothing he did as a heel to me surpassed what he did as babyface Stone Cold. And if Austin was really a true babyface, he was the anti-hero. Anti-hero Stone Cold still surpassed heel Stone Cold. But yeah, man, that takes me back, definitely. Chip says Stone Cold said in since you wanna chat Rocky, I got something to say about that too. Rocky, The Rock, yeah, or Rocky. I love the Rocky movies and The Rock, but yeah, man, Austin and Rock were definitely two of the best. I said in my my video live stream that I did with the Man 0001, where we ranked the WrestleMania trilogies, and we were saying during that WrestleMania 15 build up, man, Austin and Rock had probably some of the best back and forth when The Rock's like, "The Rock is gonna go down Know Your Role Boulevard, check in to SmackDown, to the SmackDown Hotel, and lay the SmackDown on your mucky ass." And Stone Cold says, "Jesus Christ, son," he says, "you need to get your ass serious for WrestleMania, because what old Stone Cold's gonna do is roll down Know Your Role Boulevard, check into the SmackDown Hotel, go into room 316, and burn the son of a bitch to the ground." I'm paraphrasing there. I probably got the words a little bit mixed up, but man, that was some great back and forth. And that's what I really always respected about Stone Cold and The Rock, is they didn't have to really rely on work shoot promos in terms of like, oh, bringing up hot things about their real lives. They were very much fictional characters telling a fictional story, and the only thing that was really shoot about that was that they both did want to be the top guys, but you saw that through them, the way they projected their fictional characters in this fictional storyline, and man, it just made you believe. And I really love that. Austin Rock, two of the all-time greats. Like I said, it's what made me a lifelong professional wrestling fan. Chip says Stone Cold Steve Austin says, "I whipped Rock's ass for you people." Yeah, I remember that stuff, man. It was great stuff. He also says Stone Cold Steve Austin told everyone, "I'm damn sure can beat the living crap out of Mike Tyson." That was another great promo. He said when he goes like, "Right now you got your little
beady eyes locked on the eyes of the world's toughest son of a bitch. Do I think you can beat my ass? Hell no. Do I think I can beat your ass? Why, hell yeah. I'm not sure how good your hearing is, but I always got a little bit of sign language for you. So here's to you. And he flips him the bird. Man, yeah, those are the moments, man. There ain't nothing like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like when he went up against Shawn Michaels and he goes like, you ain't gotta lay down for anybody because I'll knock you down. And if you keep getting up, I'm gonna keep knocking your ass down until you don't get up. 1, 2, 3, that damn belt is mine, and it's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so. My terrible Stone Cold impression, but man, dude, those were the times. Woo, the Attitude Era, man. I was a kid at that moment. Those were some fun times. Nothing like it ever since then, but I am glad the way professional wrestling has still evolved to where it is today, man. So, hey, thanks, Chip, for bringing us so many great Stone Cold classic moments. Got me feeling nostalgic. And thank you all so much for joining me overall in the chat and everything. It is afternoon, so didn't do quite as much. 792 viewers in the vertical chat, 44 viewers, but this is not nighttime. Like I said, I'm going to be on the No DQ review coming up in a little over an hour and everything. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me here in the chat. That being said, you can go ahead and follow me on the social media right there and click my WWE SummerSlam 2025 review to get a full version of what I said and more in-depth analysis. And make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. All links are going to be in the description below, as well as the pinned comment. Until next time, take care.